Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Here today we are going with the next type of operating system from Unit 1, that is multiprocessing operating system. But before learning about the multiprocessing operating system, we must know about multiprocessor systems. What are the multiprocessor systems? Multiprocessor systems actually a collection of a number of standard processors put together in an innovative way to improve the performance and speed of computer hardware. Means it is a computer which has more than one processors, and this integration is done in order to improve the performance and speed of computer hardware. So that's why these microprocessor systems are also known as parallel systems or multi-core systems, where we have more than one processor inside a single system unit. So the main feature and objective of multiprocessors are to provide high speed at a low cost in comparison to uniprocessors. Means the computer which has only one processor inside a single system unit, that is uniprocessor. But in contrast with it is multiprocessor, where we have more than one processor in a single system unit. Here in this image, you can see that multiprocessor system which has two processors. So in this respect, we have two types of multiprocessor systems. And these types are symmetric multiprocessor systems, SMP, which are also known as shared memory multiprocessors, and asymmetric multiprocessor, ASMP, are distributed multiprocessor. What are these types? What does they mean? Symmetric multiprocessor systems are those operating systems, those processors, those systems, those computers which have two or more than two processors, and both processors are those treated CPU equally. Means in this computer where the symmetric multiprocessing, all computers CPUs are equal. So symmetric multiprocessing is the use of two or more self-scheduling processors sharing a common memory space. Each processor has access to I/O, input-output, and memory devices. SMP applies the multiple CPUs to task to a complete in a parallel or faster fashion. Means every processor can process and they can share the same memory space along IOs. Here in this image we can see that in symmetric multiprocessing all the CPUs of the system are sharing the same memories, same system peripherals, whereas in asymmetric multiprocessing there is one master CPU and there is no shared memory. Every processor has its own memory and they are working under the master. Asymmetric processing is the use of two or more processors handled by one master processor. All CPUs are interconnected but are not self-scheduling. AMP is used to schedule specific tasks to CPU based on priority and importance of the task. Means in asymmetric multiprocessing, there is distributed memory where every CPU has its own memory and they are processed under master CPU. What are the importance of multiprocessor systems? As majority of the computers are single processor systems, meaning they have only one processor. But on the other hand, we have multiprocessor or parallel systems, which are nowadays increasing in use and in importance. Multiple processors work in parallel in these systems, sharing the computer clock, memory bus, peripherals, and so on. So in this way, we need a multiprocessor operating system. Multiprocessing, as we have described it, in multiprocessor systems, we need a special operating system which is there to describe the execution of numerous concurrent processes in a system, each of which runs on different CPU or core rather than a single process at a given moment. Means when we have more than one CPUs in a computer, then there must be an operating system which is well equipped with the feature to take work done by these CPUs concurrently. So in this way, multiprocessor operating systems are those operating systems which execute numerous concurrent processes at a time, and these processes are running at different CPUs or cores rather than on a single CPU. So when we discuss multiprocessing operating system or multiprocessor operating system, another terms come in mind which coincide with this concept, that is multitasking. As multitasking is actually the one processor that switches its jobs in time slices, means the concept of time sharing system in multitasking, where single processor perform multiple jobs in a time slices in a fashion that it gives the impression to user that all the tasks are performing concurrently. So the difference between multiprocessing and multitasking is that in multiprocessing we have more than one processor, whereas in multitasking we have one processor which performs multiple jobs in time slices. Here, multiprocessor operating system which are sharing the memory, main memory, and they may have their own IO units but are sharing the main memory. So, multiprocessor operating systems simply mean when there are two or more central processing units or CPU present in a single computer system. These multiple CPUs are in communication with each other and share the same computer bus, memory, and other peripheral devices. These systems are referred as tightly coupled systems. And the examples included for multi-operating system in modern computers, network operating system supports the multiprocessing. These operating systems included Windows NT, 2000, Windows XP, and Unix. Although Unix is widespread in multiprocessing, but these are also other operating systems which support the multiprocessing. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this type of computer operating system? Multiprocessing operating system basically enhance the performance of computers. So that's why here we have more than one processor, so multiple applications can be used at the same time, and multitasking inside an application is also performed with this type of operating system. High throughput and responsiveness, because we have more than one processor, and in case of any single processor failure, the task can be scheduled to the next processor. Hardware sharing among CPUs. We have in this architecture, CPUs are sharing the hardwares. On the other hand, disadvantages are also there. Although on the long run multiprocessors are cheaper, but using the single computer system, still they are quite expensive as comparative to uniprocessor system. Multiprocessor systems are very expensive. It is much cheaper to buy a simple processor system than a multiprocessor system. All processors are in multiprocessor system share the memory, so is much longer, larger pool of memory is required as compared to single processor system. Means when memory is being shared among more than one computer processor, so it must be larger than the uniprocessor systems. So these two are the disadvantages, because multiprocessor systems are expensive overall as comparative to uniprocessor, and also in respect of memory, these are also expensive. So in next class, inshallah, we will cover parallel processing operating systems and distributed operating systems. Whereas in this lecture, we have discussed the multiprocessor systems, types of multiprocessor systems. Then we have discussed the multiprocessing operating system, advantages and disadvantages of multiprocessing systems. Hopefully the concept is clear, but still if you have any question, query, you can talk. Thank you.